Well, y'all, it is that time of year. WrestleMania 41 has come and gone. We're now in the fallout of WrestleMania this year, and honestly, the show was a pretty mixed bag. And one of the big questions that wrestling fans have coming out of WrestleMania 41 is what's in store for next year? And that's what this video is all about today. We are going to be predicting the card for WrestleMania 42. And as you can imagine, it is pretty bold to predict the WrestleMania card when it is a year away. A lot of the stories that are happening right now will have resolved, and new stories will have come and gone in the time that now in WrestleMania 42 comes. But that is what it's all about. We're going to fantasy book a little bit here. We're going to see if we can figure out a decent WrestleMania card, and we're going to follow up with this video in another 6 months, and we're going to do it when we're 3 months out from WrestleMania 42 to see how accurate this one is. And also to see how my predicted cards evolve over time. Maybe some stories influence my decisions as the time passes, but we'll see where we go from there. Before we get into things, I do want to preface, if you are new to this channel, I strongly encourage you to subscribe because chances are you are a huge wrestling fan just like us. We also put out short form content and clips from our podcast right here on YouTube as well as over on TikTok, so go follow us there too. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So for each night of WrestleMania 42, I have the opener and main event set in stone. However, the matches in between the opener and the main event of night 1 and night 2 could go in any order, honestly. I tried to organize it in how I thought the vibes fit night 1 versus night 2. Probably should have just predicted all the matches, but we're going to try and challenge ourselves a little bit here. All right, so the opening match of WrestleMania night 1. And I had a couple of options for this one, but I decided to go with an absolute car crash. We're going to hook people with chaos, with bodies everywhere. For the WWE Tag Team Championships, we have the Street Profits, we have Motor City Machine Guns, we have Fraxium, and we have DIY. Now, it seems like they've kind of been on and off teasing the breakup of DIY, and personally, I don't think it's a good idea to break them up right now. I think it's too valuable to keep them together in the SmackDown Tag Division. I think they've been doing solid work. I think the Street Profits are fantastic WWE Tag Team Champions right now. Fraxium just got here after WrestleMania 41. They debuted the SmackDown afterwards, and man, they are absolutely turning heads. And based on their work in NXT, I know for a fact that they will be a staple in the tag team division. And then we look at Motor City Machine Guns, some guys that are absolute veterans who deserve nothing more than a match on the grandest stage of them all after working together for years and apart for years to get to this point. So I think they absolutely deserve this WrestleMania match. And I wouldn't be surprised if they came in as the defending WWE Tag Team Champions on this one. And the reason I think they're defending the titles is because a new team is going to walk out with them. I think that this is a perfect opportunity to give Fraxium the WWE Tag Team titles if they don't already have them up to this point. Any of these guys could walk in as champions, and anyone could walk out as champions as well. And hey, wouldn't be a bad idea if we threw some ladders in there. The next match I have set up for WrestleMania 42 night 1 is for the Intercontinental Championship. And go along with me on this one. We have the champion Austin Theory defending against Penta, Rusev, and Sheamus. Now, listen, before you come at me, you're probably wondering why the fuck is Austin Theory the Intercontinental Champion? I'll tell you why. Because of a faction that is brewing on Monday Night Raw right now. The faction with Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Bron Breakker feels a little empty. It feels like we could use one more person in there. And I think that Austin Theory makes a perfect fourth man in this faction. Even though the reports have come out saying that no one else is going to be added, I really think that they're lying. I think they're just trying to cover it up, make it unpredictable. Obviously, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller have been hinting toward an Austin Theory babyface turn for so long, with the team breaking up between the two. What if they pulled a swerve on us and they had Austin Theory turn on Grayson Waller to join up with Seth Rollins' faction? I really feel like Austin Theory could fill this fourth man slot in the faction so well, and I think that Austin Theory turning on Grayson would greatly benefit him. And then you have the challengers in this match, Rusev, Sheamus, and Penta. Why are they here? I think it's safe to say at some point in 2025, Penta picks up the Intercontinental Championship, and he will become a mainstay in that division on Monday Night Raw. It's clear that WWE has a lot of faith, interest, and value in Penta being a big star in WWE. It's clear that he's working and getting himself over with the fans, and WWE sees a big opportunity in pushing him. And honestly, he's probably the guy that Theory takes the title off of in the lead up to WrestleMania 42. Then you have Rusev and Sheamus. Rusev just came back to WWE after WrestleMania 41, and I have a feeling that they're going to push him pretty hard in this new role. Even though the debut didn't go entirely perfect, I think it's setting him up for the next year to be a big building year for Rusev to the point of being a staple of the Intercontinental Championship picture going into WrestleMania 42. And then you have Sheamus, somebody who is very obviously a main event guy who can easily be a believable mid-card guy. The Intercontinental Championship is the one thing that has eluded Sheamus, and he walks away as a Grand Slam champion. All right, y'all, with this next match, I think we're finally getting it. Dominik Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. In all honesty, I think it's just because of a couple of reasons. One being, I don't really have any good ideas for Rey or Dominik Mysterio, particularly Rey, in terms of having a WrestleMania-worthy feud, story, and match. Whereas Dominik, I think he could have a lot more than that, but I really think the one thing that Dominik needs before he can break off and have a fully fledged singles run is by overcoming his father without any outside help. And I think it'd be kind of interesting, especially with Dom taking more of a face role coming out of WrestleMania 41, almost fighting Rey to the point where Dominik starts respecting his father after putting on a fantastic match at WrestleMania 42. I think it's finally the time where Rey passes the torch to Dominik here. Maybe I'm underestimating how much Rey has left in the tank, but I think that this is a match that needs to happen before Rey hangs it up fully. This is something that Dominik really needs to pay off in his career before he can really become his own star. I think the match is going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be overwhelming. I think that it's going to be emotional. I think that this match is going to be one of the best matches Dominik Mysterio has ever put on, and I think that this will be a fitting send-off for Rey Mysterio. Keeping in line with the singles grudge matches of WrestleMania 42 Night 1, we have Gunther versus Ilja Dragunov. Ilja Dragunov will be coming back from injury at some point later in 2025, and I think that at that point we start to build Gunther versus Ilja, and I think that we lost the opportunity to do it for the Intercontinental, we lost the opportunity to do it for the World Heavyweight title. Now is the time to do it, whether it's title or non-title. I think that this is the right spot. And we can always revisit this match down the line, but I think playing up this story of Ilja always getting the best of Gunther could be a great thing, especially if Gunther wins back the world title down the road and we can get a rematch in the future. Gunther has been 0-2 at WrestleMania in terms of title defenses, going in as the big bad heel to then lose. And I think that this is a WrestleMania match that Gunther has finally set up to win. Not only that, he's fighting one of his prior demons. He's only lost to a handful of people: Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, and Ilja Dragunov. And he's beaten Sami, he's beaten Jey. He hasn't beaten Cody yet, but they've kept the door open for a rematch. And Ilja Dragunov is the one that I think that is the next on the list. It's a perfect opportunity for Gunther to get a win at WrestleMania after 2 years of losses, something he so desperately deserves. The next match, I think I'm pretty proud of this one. This is the semi-main event of Night 1. It's for the WWE Women's Championship, a triple threat match. Naomi defends the title against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. We get the big three triple threat that we need at some point. This is the time to do it. In the meantime, leading up to WrestleMania 42, Jade Cargill wins the Women's United States title and holds it for a decent period of time, and I think that Jade Cargill is the top pick to win the Women's Royal Rumble in 2026. Then you have the reports that have been coming out recently and the leaked Money in the Bank briefcase listing that WWE dropped that had caution tape on it. And if there's one person synonymous with caution tape right now in WWE, it's Naomi. Have they accidentally spoiled the Women's Money in the Bank match this year? I think so. Listen, whether they have or not, I think Naomi should win the Women's Money in the Bank this year. I think that she has been on a really, really awesome heel run. I think her gimmick is fantastic. I think her demeanor is fantastic. She's always been a great wrestler. Now is the time to give Naomi her due. Have her win the case, have her cash in successfully on Tiffany, and have Naomi hold the belt until WrestleMania 42. Then you have Jade Cargill winning the Royal Rumble match. I think that this is going to be a very similar structure to this year's triple threat for the Women's World title at WrestleMania 41 with Io, Rhea, and Bianca. But I think that this time, we're going to have a scenario where the third woman, this time it's going to be Bianca Belair, weasels her way into the match for good reason and an actual storyline reason. Jade mad at Naomi because Naomi attacked Jade. I think Jade's going to be mad at Bianca because Bianca just abandoned the situation this year when they revealed that Naomi attacked Jade. And I think that Bianca is just going to be mad at both of them because why the fuck is this all happening and why is Bianca pulled into the middle of this? I think the big three triple threat is something that we desperately need coming out of their story. And now I think between WrestleManias 41 and 42 is the perfect time to build us up to that triple threat. The one thing that we've been waiting on is for Jade Cargill to be ready for a main event feud. I think it's full steam ahead. Let's do it. And in the main event of WrestleMania 42 Night 1, we have for the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins defending the title against Sami Zayn. And here's the thing, y'all. I think Jey Uso is bound to lose this World Heavyweight title. So I think that Seth Rollins will beat Jey Uso at SummerSlam to win the World Heavyweight title and carry it and hold Raw hostage up until WrestleMania 42. And the big story coming out of WrestleMania 41 has been this tension brewing between Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins. And there's been a lot of talk about Sami Zayn never being a world champion and Sami saying, no, I'm going to become the champion someday. I'm going to do it. It's just not now, but it's going to happen. And I really do think this is WWE foreshadowing to us that Sami Zayn will in fact become a world champion. This story is the vehicle to do it. Whether you love it or hate it, Sami Zayn's character throughout the year has been all about exposing people's hypocrisy hypocrisies, exposing when people are being taken advantage of, and exposing the corruption that happens when big main event heel factions come to power. And I think this is the time that Sami Zayn actually follows up on his word and thwarts the heel faction that's been running the show. Do I think it's the end of Seth Rollins' new faction? Not at all. I think this faction is going to be a staple of WWE and pro wrestling in general for years to come. But I think that this is the first domino to fall. And then you have night one of WrestleMania 42 ending with a feel-good victory, Sami Zayn finally overcoming the adversity he's faced, winning the World Heavyweight Championship, and caveat here, bonus point, I think Sami Zayn is going to be the winner of the Royal Rumble in 2026. It takes place in Saudi Arabia, big Sami Zayn country. It's time for Sami to win. Opening WrestleMania 42 Night 2, I have for the Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley versus the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber, Tiffany Stratton. Listen, this match to me is such a dream match for me. Now, they did spend this past year of 2024 into 25 teasing the prospect of Rhea versus Tiffany. They also had them teaming up together. I think that Tiffany's going to get cashed in on by Naomi and lose the WWE Women's title, and I think she's going to spend this next year building to an Elimination Chamber victory to set up the match with Rhea Ripley. Meanwhile, I think that Rhea is going to win the Women's World title either from Io Sky or sometime down the road in 2025, so that by WrestleMania 42, she is walking in as the Women's World Champion. And I think personally, this is the time to have Tiffany Stratton win. I think that Rhea is at this point invincible. She can take any loss she wants and she'll be fine. Tiffany is in much greater risk of falling down the card and losing stock if she loses in big matches. I think that it's going to be awesome. It's a great way to open the match. I would have it closed, but you won't be ready for this main event. Next up for the World Tag Team Championships, we are going to have the New Day defending the titles against the Usos. I think that Jey Uso is going to lose this World Heavyweight title and go on this identity crisis run where he's in a dark place and he needs to find a way out. Enter Jimmy Uso. They realize that they are stronger together. They use this momentum to build the Raw Tag Team division, leading to a showdown with the New Day at WrestleMania. These four guys have been so intertwined for so much of their careers. They've carried the tag divisions of their respective brands for so many years, and I think that now is finally the time that we revisit it, especially now that the script is flipped and the New Day are the heels and the Usos are the faces. Especially now that Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso have both established their own individual personalities. The one thing that's held them back from success, I think, has been the fact that they have been twins. They've been always identical. They've been mixed up. Commentary is always like wondering which Uso is which. And now that we have Big Jim and main event Jey Uso, they have distinct personalities. They have bigger stars than they ever were in their previous career. And I think that Kofi and Xavier are on a path to even elevate their own star power as well. This match, I think, will be the renaissance that the Raw Tag Team division needs, and I think it's more than fitting for WrestleMania 42. Next up for the United States Championship. Listen, we had a car crash match for the WWE Tag titles on night one. We had to have a car crash match on night two. What better way than to have Jacob Fatu defend the title against Rey Fenix, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, Andrade, and Aleister Black. Everybody in this match brings their own unique element to the table. Jacob Fatu, massively over, always impressing, always surprising fans with these crazy spots. You have Rey Fenix, who just got on the scene this year, had just had his first WrestleMania match, and is just establishing his star now that he's finally in WWE. But I think by WrestleMania 42, he's ready to be a mid-card guy. He's a staple of the SmackDown mid-card division, I think, by that time. And I think that he's going to really be the speed in this matchup to really counteract a lot of the heavy hitters. LA Knight's going to be the guy to ground this match. We have a lot of high flyers and fast movers in this match, and I think LA Knight's going to be the bruiser that grounds the matchup. You have Carmelo Hayes, who's going to be trash talking all through the match. You have Andrade, who's just been excellent in the ring, and I think will win over fans over this next year on SmackDown. And the newly returned Aleister Black, bringing in the dark personality. The individual 1v1 scenarios that you can have are dream scenarios, and I think that Jacob Fatu can still be the United States champion walking into this show. But listen, regardless of who walks in or out as champion, this is going to be an absolute show stealer. Like night one, we are going to have a couple of singles matches that are non-title, more so grudge matches that will round out this card. The people that couldn't necessarily make the main event but are too good for the mid-card, they're going to have those grudge matches in the upper mid-card, upper echelon. Here's what we got for those. The first one, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre. And I'm not gonna lie, this match started for me because I had no idea how either of these guys were gonna be going into WrestleMania. I first had Logan Paul versus Gunther, but then I realized Ilja Dragunov has to come back, and I think that that match with Gunther is a dream match that needs to happen. And one other big name that Logan Paul has not crossed paths with is also a fellow loudmouth just like himself, and I think someone that could win over the support of the fans if they wanted to turn him face, and that is Drew McIntyre. I know this one might be a little crazy, it might be a little bit of a stretch to turn McIntyre face after a year of being one of the biggest heels in the company, but I really do think that McIntyre has won over fans' respect, which makes it hell of a lot easier to turn face. Logan Paul will just never be a face, so whoever faces him is going to get cheered. The next match on WrestleMania 42 Night 2 is the second of two singles grudge matches. Now, you might have noticed we have Bron Breakker in Seth Rollins' faction. He's not in the Intercontinental Championship picture, but he's on his way to the main event. So where is he going to be? In a singles match with none other than CM Punk. You saw how we closed the Raw after WrestleMania with Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker standing tall over Roman Reigns and CM Punk. And I think that this is the time that you have Bron Breakker prove himself in a match against a proven main event guy in CM Punk. I think it's going to be a story of Bron Breakker trying to make a name for himself going after Punk, and Punk going for retribution for everything that they've already done to Punk and what they will do to Punk over this next year on Monday Night Raw. This match is going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be a storytelling match for sure, and a passing of the torch of sorts between Punk and Bron Breakker, someone who would really, really benefit from a hallmark victory over an in-ring veteran like CM Punk, and it would be a fire semi-main event going into this next match. Now, the main event of WrestleMania 42 is a match that needs a little bit of explanation before we get to it, and I do want to preface that I am not taking into consideration any of what The Rock has said. I might use some of it to support my own ambitions, but I do not believe everything Dwayne The Rock Johnson says. I just want to make that clear. If you follow this channel and watched all our videos, you know that I've theorized the potential for Cena to put over Cody Rhodes not as the next big babyface, but as the next big heel. Because the last match of Cena's career is likely to be in Boston, there's no denying that he will be cheered in the city of Boston, regardless of who he faces. And if we get Cody Rhodes and John Cena in that last match, they're gonna have to boo Cody. So what better way to lean into that than Cody to win the title off of Cena using dirty tactics and full-blown turning heel? Roman Reigns is now universally beloved after being the biggest heel in wrestling for the past half a decade. So I think the natural trajectory is for Roman to become the biggest babyface there is in the company. And I think that right now, especially coming out of WrestleMania, on a night where Cody Rhodes was booed the most in his entire WWE run after being a face for all of it, I think it's finally time that Cody full-blown turns heel, wins the WWE title off of Cena, and sends him packing. We have Cody Rhodes as a big heel. You can put The Rock with him if you want him to, and put Travis Scott with Cody. Make the corporation, make it, and lean into it heavy, because Roman Reigns is going to be the guy to try and challenge it. I think you spend the time between Cena's last match and WrestleMania 42 with Cody Rhodes being this big, bad, evil heel, and at that point you have Roman Reigns win the Elimination Chamber, overcoming the odds. I have no doubt in my mind he'll be in the final four of the Royal Rumble, potentially the final two. I think it'd be super interesting to have Roman and Sami being the final two in the Royal Rumble 2026. And so you have Roman coming this close at the Rumble, has one more shot in the Elimination Chamber to get his title back from Cody Rhodes, and we run back Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for a third time, one more time, except this time the script is flipped. Cody walks in as the heel, Roman comes in as the face. You could have some crazy shenanigans where Rock gets involved, and you have Cody retaining over Roman, and you have Roman potentially setting up a match with The Rock to get retaliation for it, which is a match we've all been clamoring for. There are so many different directions that we could go with this matchup. I think that that is why it is more than fitting to be the main event of WrestleMania 42, and I think it's going to set up the next generation, the next era of WWE moving forward. And y'all, those are my WrestleMania 42 card predictions. If you agree, if you disagree, if you have your own matches or match card predictions, leave them in the comment section down below. I'd love to have a conversation and love to know what y'all are thinking. You can also like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel if you love pro wrestling content just like this. We drop it all the time, so keep an eye out. You can follow us here on TikTok, anywhere you get podcasts. You can find links to all of our social media in the About section right underneath this video. And y'all, I've been Tino, we've been Kickout Club, and you have been a fantastic audience. Never stay down, and we'll see y'all very soon.